Hi, you guys. My name is Diane Cole, and I am so excited to be one of your trainers during the Directorship Now program. Oh my gosh, it's been such an amazing program, hasn't it? Well, I get to share a little bit about my story. I started Mary Kay 20 years ago. I was in corporate America. I was an executive with AT&T, and we didn't have kids at the time. Double income, no kids, living large. Didn't have a need, wasn't looking, and so I didn't have a need that I knew of. Put it that way. And a woman came up to me in a Hallmark store. She said, "You were so sharp. Can I ask you what you do?" And I said, "Yes. That I work for AT&T." And she shared some facts with me right there in the Hallmark store. And honestly, it was a 30-second conversation. But I said back to her, I'm educated, but I'm completely uneducated about Mary Kay. Could you teach me? I really believe that they were the words that opened the doors to my heart and let not only Mary Kay come in, but let in so much more. So much more. So that next weekend, my husband and I both went to this event. She invited us both to go, and I thought that was really smart. And I became an independent beauty consultant that day. I never had the products on my face. I heard the amazing career opportunity, and I looked at him and I said, "I think I'd be good at this." And he said, "I think you'd be great." And so I began my business, and I was committed to going to my success meetings, and I'm holding one skincare class a week. And so I did work, 60 to 80 hours, and so I didn't know how else I would fit it in. And I was looking to give it a try. I wasn't looking to leave what I had. I was just, going to sprinkle it in. And so from my very first skincare class, I there were 11 people at my skincare class. And from there, when I booked their follow up appointments, all 11 booked. And so if I had booked them out 11 weeks, then it would have gone 3 months. And so from that very first class, I booked three on a Saturday, a 10, a 1, and a 4. And so I feel so thankful that I did it that way, because in that first month I got to show myself how not everybody holds their appointments when they say they will. And so when here I was, going to hold one skincare class on a Saturday, it took me to have those three to in essence hold the one. And so some Saturdays, yes, I'd have all three classes hold, but then there were some Saturdays I didn't hold any, and then there were some I held one or two. And so they averaged out to be that I needed the three to hold the one. And so anyway, so that was my first month in the business. And by the time I was in 3 months, I can tell you Mary Kay got into me, and I was so excited about this company. And I went to my husband and I said, "Oh my gosh, I think that I'd really like to do this full time and leave my job." And he said, "What?" Now again, I was a major breadwinner. And so I said, "This is my idea. How about we bank my income, we live off yours, and see what I do in the next 6 months?" Well, you guys, I got his support, and that was so exciting to me. And I jumped in. And the very next month, Mary Kay had a challenge to do a 2020, and that is holding 20 skincare classes in the month. And she was kicking it off herself. And this was the fourth month of doing the 2020, so it was the last one she was doing it. So I decided I wanted to master my skincare class. I wanted to get down the timing. I wanted to know the opening, the middle, the close. I really wanted to know my skincare class and really get it mastered. And so I went out there and held three classes the first week, and they all canceled the second week, and I held three the third week, and I held 14 the last week. And I can tell you through that whole process, because I was excited to do the 2020, I was excited. And when they canceled, it didn't stick on me like there was something the matter with me. It was just like, who else is it going to be? And I was like searching for it. It was like seek and find. And I was like, who else is going to play with me? Who else is going to play with me? And I can tell you guys, having that attitude of believing they were out there, the ones that were going to show up and hold the 20, that all I needed to do was find them, I honestly believe was just a total gift that God gave me, because truly I held those 20 classes. I blew my mind. I sold over $3,000 that month, and I was only in the company 4 months. And the next month we went to career conference, and Mary Kay Ash was at our career conference, and I got my pin from Mary Kay, and I was on cloud nine getting the pin. And I glided off the stage, and I was met by this really sharp girl in a red jacket, and she came up and she congratulated me, and she said, "How many new team members did you get from your 2020?" And I was like, "None." And she goes, "None?" And I was like, "No." She goes, "You saw over 60 faces and you didn't get one team member?" And I go, and I was standing there, and I was like, I didn't ask anybody. You guys, it was a brand new thought. A new thought was birthed right then. And so it was a brand new idea that I didn't have. And as I went back to my seat, I thought, well, I have 60 names now to call. And so it was one of those things where I shifted and I thought, wow, I guess, I could have done it all at the same time. And so I jumped in and I got my first recruit. And by that June, I had set a goal in January that I was going to have earned my car by June. And so here I was starting June. I wasn't even on target. So at all my skincare classes, I start bringing a picture of my red jacket and a picture of my car. And, this was the red jacket that I'm going to earn this month. And this is the car that I'm going on target for this month. And by you guys being here, you could be anywhere that you wanted to be, but you were here today. And I want to thank you just by you trying this product and giving me your opinion of the product, and then hearing my story and giving me your honest opinion of how I did in my delivery of the story, and then what you think of it. If you would ever consider it for you, is how I'm going to get in this red jacket and go on target for this car. So I want to thank you in advance. And so every single skincare class, you guys, I told them all, I thank them all for being there, and I thank them all for in advance for helping me earn that red jacket. And then guess what, you guys? And I earned my red jacket, and I earned it in those first 2 weeks of June. And I started wearing the red jacket to my skincare class, and I told them that this is the red jacket that I earned this month because of women like you that came to the skincare classes and gave me their honest opinion of our product and gave their honest opinion of my story and what they thought, and if they thought it would be something that they would consider for themselves. And so this is a car I'm going on target for this month, and I just brought them with me. And I can tell you that at my unit meeting, once you got in your red jacket, our adopted director had us write an affirmation, and we would say who we were. Like, so the red jackets came up front and you got to introduce yourself, but you needed your affirmation. And so I sat down with the dictionary, and I wrote down D and C words and was figuring it out. And there I was in my unit meeting with my red jacket on, my first reading, and my hands were shaking. And I was going, I am the dazzling, dynamic, captivatingly contagious, courageous, and capable Diane Cole. Who is, you seriously, you guys, like you could almost hear the undertone saying, if you can believe that one. I was not used to affirmations at all. I wasn't used to being affirmed. I wasn't certainly not used to me affirming me. I wasn't used to positive feedback at all. It wasn't in my upbringing. That's not how it went at all. And so here I was smack dab in the middle of this company, and then I'm writing this out, and it goes like this. I am the dazzling, dynamic, captivatingly contagious, courageous, and capable Diane Cole, who is destined, determined, and daringly driven to directorship by December 31st of this year. And you guys, so I went from to being able to say it. My adopted director came up to me at the end and she said, you did a great job with your affirmation. And I know this week you're going to say it enough to yourself throughout the day that you're going to leave your little piece of paper at home next week and you're going to say it from memory. Well, you guys, I tell you, that's how I incorporated affirmations into my everyday life. And I can tell you that I didn't have any of that, but I embraced it and I watched how it worked, and it grew me and it groomed me. When you fast forward in becoming a sales director, and I've earned several cars, and I was clipping along, in life, enjoying what I was achieving and things like that. And when there's a time in your life where things seem tough or seem hard, there are the times that I can look back on and I can say, like, what did I do? What was I lacking at that point, or what did I think I was lacking at that point? And for me, it always came down to just to a solid sense of worth. And so when I truly opened the doors to the love of the company, it was also to the love of God. It was also to a go give philosophy versus go get. And there was a lot of work that God needed to do in my heart, that I had opened it. So I also affirmed that I was worthy of being loved. I was worthy of being loving. And so recently someone asked me what my definition of confidence was, because she had called me and she had looked to me as somebody who was confident. So remember the person who was shaking the paper, I'm dazzling, dynamic. I don't know. You know what I mean? It was brand new. But to me, the definition is acceptance of self, and realizing that each and every one of you are in directorship now because you're becoming a director now. And you know what? That seed of greatness is within you. How do we know that? Because you wouldn't have the desire to be in this program if that desire wasn't there, if that seed wasn't there and planted. And so, for me, on those bridges that I crossed, it was realizing that I was already perfect as I was and perfect as I wasn't. Perfect as I was and perfect as I wasn't. And all I needed to do is, right in my imperfection, is share that product and share the career. Share that product and share the career. And so I'm athletic and I love sports. And when you think of basketball, you take the ball and you put it in the hoop. And so ball and hoop, and you get points. You get 1, 2, or you get 3 points. The ball goes in at wherever you're standing or for whatever's going on, you're either going to get 1, 2, or 3 points. Okay. So Mary Kay, the sport called Mary Kay, we're playing the game of Mary Kay. How do we score? Well, we score by sharing the product and sharing the career, sharing the product and sharing the career. Now, if you were to throw the ball, it's not going to guarantee it's going to go in the hoop. Just like when we share the product, it's not for sure that we're going to make a sale. When we share the career, it's not for sure it's going to be for that woman and she's going to sign up. But when we fall in love and we realize that what we're affirming ourselves in doing is the actual game, the process of the game, we're sharing the product and sharing the career. We're sharing the product. Now, I can tell you one of the essences of the game is being on the court, right? And playing the game. But there's a whole clap and cheer section of people in the stands that are watching the game happen. And you guys, I've seen myself talking Mary Kay. Like talking basketball, right? Talking Mary Kay and watching other people succeed. And I watched my friends, climb to the top. I really have. And I realized that I put myself on the bench and I was up in the stands and I was talking Mary Kay and I was loving Mary Kay and I had took joy in the game. But then when I realized, I was like, I need to share that product and share that career and share that product. So in that process, I started to identify the time period between my classes and my facials, my interviews, so how much time can you shorten between sharing the product and sharing the career, sharing the product? And so as you lose yourself in that game, personal growth comes. Everything that anything that you could even possibly dream of and far beyond it happens by you sharing the product and sharing the career. And so my hope and prayer for you is that you can fall in love with yourself first and then go have a ball with sharing that product and sharing the career. Okay, you guys. So as we close on this, I want to just share the ending to my poem. My favorite poem is called "The Race," and so it starts out: "Quit, give up, you're beaten. They shout and they plead. There's just too much against you now. This time you can't succeed." And as I start to hang my head in front of failure's face, my downward fall is broken by the memory of a race. What I want to share with you guys is that it goes on, and this boy's running the race, and he falls 3 times, and he feels disgraced, and he knows there's no way of winning, and he wished he didn't even get up the second time, and he wishes that he didn't get up. You know what I mean? Like he didn't get up because he fell again, right? So it goes on to say, so he jumped up to try again, 10 yards behind the last. If I'm to gain those yards, he thought, I've got to run real fast. Exceeding everything he had, he regained 8 or 10, but trying so hard to catch the lead, he slipped and fell again. I've lost, so what's the use, he thought. I'll live with my disgrace. But then he thought about his dad, who soon he'd have to face. Get up, an echo sounded low. Get up and take your place. You weren't meant for failure here. Get up and win the race. With borrowed will, get up, it said. You haven't lost at all. For winning is not more than this, to rise each time you fall. So up he rose to win once more, and with a new commit, he resolved that win or lose, at least he wouldn't quit. So far behind the others now, the most he'd ever been, still he gave it all he had and ran though to win. 3 times he'd fallen, stumbling, 3 times he'd rose again. Too far behind to hope to win, he still ran to the end. They cheered the winning runner as he crossed first place, head high and proud and happy, no falling, no disgrace. But when the fallen youngster crossed the line, last place, the crowd gave him the greater cheer for finishing the race. And even though he came in last, with head bowed low, unproud, you would have thought he won the race to listen to that crowd. And to his dad, he sadly said, I didn't do so well. To me, you won, his father said. You rose each time you fell. So when things seem dark and hard and difficult to face, the memory of that little boy helps me in my race. For all of life is like that race with ups and downs and all you have to do to win is rise each time you fall. Quit, give up, you're beaten. They still shout in my face. But another voice inside me says, get up and win your race. You guys, we are only beat if we quit. And so, you know what? You're perfect as you are. You're perfect as you're not. And I'm so excited to be in this journey with you guys.